Hi everyone, I'm Miknaz. Welcome to another AEC Plus Tech Talk. Today's session is all about emerging AI tools that are transforming automation in the AEC industry. So these conversations are part of our mission at AEC Plus Tech, a platform and community dedicated to helping AEC professionals discover and evaluate the most innovative tools that are out there. We are thrilled today to be joined by three amazing founders and team members from three cutting edge companies that are bringing fresh approaches to design, workflows, and documentation in architecture and in the AEC. So, I'm going to briefly introduce the three of our speakers and their companies, and then we'll let them talk more about themselves and their work. So, first, we will have Rohit Arora representing Dodda.ai. Dodda is an AI powered assistant that assesses land parcels in minutes and generates site feasibility reports. Rohit is a trained architect with experience at Autodesk, Katera, and Vive. He has built deep expertise in product management and QA at the intersection of design and tech, and now leads product at Dodda.ai, bringing pragmatic, tech forward solutions to AC workflows. Thanks, Rohit, for joining us today, and then we'll have you as our first speaker. So I'm going to briefly introduce Al and George as well, and then we'll go back to you.
Thanks, Nick.
For sure. So after that, we'll have George Guida, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name right, co-founder and CEO at xFigura. xFigura is a generative design and feasibility platform helping architects and developers rapidly explore site-specific options while integrating zoning, cost, and design logic. Thanks, George, for joining us all the way from Spain. Where are you based?
Italy.
Okay,
I'm from
wonderful.
Italy, yes.
Great, Italy. Okay, wonderful. Thanks. And last, we'll have Blueprints AI, an exciting platform represented by Dram. So, Blueprints AI is a platform that helps automate early stage planning and test fit layouts in seconds, freeing up designers to focus on creativity. So, you'll be hearing from Dram, a California based serial entrepreneur with a PhD in digital design and architecture. He previously served as vice chair of a planning commission and founded Dram's Architects and Dram's Construction before launching Blueprints AI to transform how construction documents are generated. So thanks, Al, for joining us today.
Great to be here. Thank you so much, guys.
Of course. So I'll go back to Rohit. Rohit, please feel free to share your screen with us and tell us more about Dodda and what you guys are building.
Sure. Thanks for the opportunity, Niknaz. So I'm Rohit Arora. I am managing the product at Dota.ai. We started off in a different note, but we realized the first step to anything construction is the land. So that's where we come in. Just to give you a little background, Dota, a lot of people might have a question, what's the name? The name it comes from a mountain range in India. So our CEO, when she had that epiphany climbing that mountain range and decided to name this company. And the reason we exist is because when she was building her home, she realized how inefficient the AEC industry is. And coming from a tech background, this was very obvious. With multiple decades of experience in Microsoft, she decided to tackle the problem, as an outsider, bring her knowledge into this. I joined in as a subject matter expert, and I managed the product at Dota. So, in short, that was the inspiration, a personal experience. That's why the CEO, Gayatri, launched the company. We realized when we started with the SIR, the site information report, or the site feasibility report, is that data gathering is a big problem in AEC industry. And it takes a lot of time, a lot of search when you get a parcel of land to make sure that it's the right one for you. Does it meet all your requirements or not? So we wanted to reduce the mundane task of data gathering so the professionals can get right down to their work. So Dota helps a land developer, a planner, an architect to assess a land parcel in minutes. So all the pre-diligence work is done by AI, and the decision can be made, and the detailed parcel information then supports the decision making, whether it be for investment purposes, for land development, or for operational needs of any professional dealing with land or parcel of lands. I can take you directly into the demo right now. If you want to play this video and share my video, I would. Okay, and I'll talk over it. We can start from existing address. In this case, I'll create a new address, and this address now we have enabled. Even if you don't have an address, often there's no parcel information available. You could start with a latitude, longitude as well as an input. So you can create a new address, just put it in, type in the address, uh, and it takes you to this forma where you can now use predefined sections which we have populated with keywords, anything and everything that you can think of to do with the land parcel. Very quickly, it gives you the maps, which includes the generic Google Maps, and now we are enabling even 3D maps, and then anything that's of concern that can help you decide about this piece of land. There's a flood map, there's a critical areas and ArcGIS where you can layer different information on the map as well. Because architects, planners are visual people, this is what we feel will really help you. So everything that you would go to multiple sites is all here from this portal. Going forward, as it's generating all these sections that you pre-selected, it gives you all the information regarding those questionnaire. If you're not happy, you can always say, hey, I need more information. And that's where you would create your own section and say you are always looking for weather patterns or climatic risk or specific keywords that you're looking for. You can save that section and run that. You can also remove sections. Say an ADU is not relevant, you are in a commercial zone, so you can delete that section and then go forward from there. So you are customizing your report as you go. And if you want, there is a chat like experience. So for this specific address, you can ask anything in a chat like experience, and the results will be shown within that. Once you are done, you can download the report as a docx or a PDF. That's Dodda.ai SIR tool. And so that's, I'm going to stop there sharing. I'm just going to just bring it right here so you can see the screen. But yeah, so that's what the tool does. We are enhancing it as we go. As you saw, we tackle parcel and zoning data. We tackle environmental risk, compliance issues, anything historic data. Was there some sort of a pollution before that? What existed before this parcel of land? And in an existing case, can you build an ADU? So we can do ADU feasibility reports as well. Topographical, weather information, utilities, who all are the AHJs. So all that information in a single report can be created in minutes. What would usually take you many hours or days can be done in minutes now. So that's what. And in short, we are an AI scribe, as we like to call ourselves. So we are using AI to give you accurate, reliable, consistent, and comprehensive data results on any parcel of land. And how do we do it? We restrict the data sources to improve the accuracy. We just don't simply go to the internet and gather data. We have customized in the backend to tackle any biases and remove any hallucinations that comes with AI. That's the fear a lot of people have, but we have tackled it. Uh, and in the AEC space, we are perhaps the only AI scribe right now for land use. With just one input, whether it be your address or your latitude, longitude, we can generate a full assessment of that land or parcel of land. We use AI LLMs, but the data is checked for accuracy versus other solutions. If you were to compare and ask the same information to, say, for example, ChatGPT, every time you ask, you'll get some other answer. It may be non-relevant answers too. So we address all those concerns and use AI in a very pragmatic way, I like to call it. And next, what we are working on is enhancing this product. We'll be working on providing multimodal insights on land use, 3D maps, and more visualizations, much rich data. and eventually give you a dashboard where you can see all the land parcels that you may have, and you can just quickly make decisions and follow it through the period of time. The eventually we'll also have this flagging mechanism which will alert you if something's changed, there's a new code. We will be your service that will take you through the whole process. In terms of customer success stories, we've had, I like to talk about architects. Being an architect myself, we have had single person firms now using our tools and are able to tackle the feasibility, site feasibility report at a much lower cost point and much faster than before. And that way, we have leveled the playing field for them, and they can compete with much larger firms, larger players. So that's like a success story, and that's what really powers us. That's it. I'll stop there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rohit, for this overview. That was very helpful and very interesting, exciting. So, quick question, and then we'll get back to you with more questions. So, you mentioned
Yes.
architects. So, architects are currently using your product. So, how did they gather all this data before using Dota? I'm curious. And then the other question is about integration. So, these reports that you generate, so do they integrate with any other tool or anything else that architects or developers are currently using?
Yeah, I'll go in sequence. So the current substitute is manual, just Google search. And often because the architects are playing they have been practicing for many years, they know the resources by memory. They will just go to the county site, get all the data information. But that means they will do this every time they go to a new jurisdiction. They will have to redo. What we do is we are pre-compiling all that list for them, which means now they can expand their boundaries. They don't have to be restricted in the familiar areas. They can now take on work at much broader, maybe even anywhere in the US for that matter. So it expands their horizons, so to say.
Yeah.
So we are doing that, and so that's the substitution that we have taken away from them. They'll have this tool now. Um, to the second part, can you repeat the second question? I just want to be sure I answer.
Integration. I'm just curious if your users need to even integrate these reports and this information
Sure.
with other tools they're using, or maybe they don't. It's like in a standalone like report.
So currently, they have been just copy pasting stuff. We first of all give them a report. The next step for us is integrating with third party platforms. So the next thing would be maybe take them to the programming level. So we have other programming tools where we can pass on that data, and they can or we can integrate with them and take that information that we said, okay, we know the FAR, we know the setbacks. Right now, just directly automatically take them to integration to the next step where they can do the massing studies.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure we'll be exploring the options, but that's what the next step would be.
Wonderful. Great.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. So we'll get back to you with more questions at the end.
Yes.
So next we'll have George. So George, please feel free to share your screen and tell us more about what you are building.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Of course.
Yeah, and really great to maybe we can tie all of these in one day into one consolidated or build some integrations between all these platforms.
Yes.
Well, thanks for the introduction. We are xFigura. We like to call ourselves a Miro for architects powered by AI. Essentially, it's an early stage architectural ideation platform. We're hosting more than 25 AI models all in one place. And maybe just to begin, I'll give a little bit of introduction of how I got to building where we are, what we have built today. So I come from industry. I worked for many years at Foster & Partners in the UK. I'm an architect by training, and I do also come with a lot of technical experience. So I've taught many courses at Harvard and Northeastern, at Wentworth, in the Boston area, and courses on AI and architecture. Part of what brought me here is a lot of the consultancy work, which I've done for architecture practices, in addressing how to really onboard all of this noise, all of these tools in their practices. So learning how from technical approaches, onboarding, training, and so on. And so it is a real pain point to understand what tools to use. There's so many AI models out there. There's tracking from a creative process, knowing how to keep control within this creative journey can always be a challenge. From an admin perspective, subscriptions, administrating, knowing what to give architects, knowing how to navigate all of these end user agreements or terms and conditions can be a challenge. So even pre-AI, there was a lot of fragmentation in our workflows. You add AI to the picture and things get a lot messier. And so our idea is not to replace any of the existing tools. It's to centralize and connect all of these into an integrated workflow. Data security for us is a big priority. So unlike other platforms like Midjourney, for example, they retrain your data for those image generation processes. Our idea is to keep your data secure for the models we have control over. Collaboration at the heart of what we offer. We offer infinite canvases, boards, collaborative opportunities to share with clients, to share boards internally, and to really map out that creative workflow, which I'll describe in just a second. And so we can really start accelerating and working with AI, but keep control. And so that's a big, an essential item in how we are building the tool, of always keeping the architect at the center of this design process. Keep that agency with the architect. Today already, we're hosting 25 of the best image, upscaler, video, and 3D model, generative AI models. So this includes things like all the fun Flux models, ideogram models, all the stability AI models, OpenAI. A really great one we've been having a lot of fun with is one called Flux Context Max and Pro. From the video perspective, we have the latest VO2, the VO3 models. From the upscalers, the industry standard is often leans towards Magnific, which we're hosting on platform. And then a new interesting opportunity, I would say this year has been very much the year of video and the year of AI agents, where we're going to see in the next few months how 3D is really going to evolve. We'll start training models, be able to work with surfaces in a much more controlled way. So to date, we have 5 of those models all in platform. We are built by architects for architects, which is a big differentiator for us for our product roadmap. And so we have speckle integration already for different platforms, and we're building out a Rhino plugin in this coming month. And so some workflows, just to give a brief glimpse of some things we've been cooking up. Some text-to-image workflows, image-to-image, which is a great use case for architects, converting sketches, relighting a scene, adding people, or converting these then into the next one, which is video, upscaling, in painting like what you would do in Photoshop with masks, or even training your own data sets on platform, which is something you can also download and bring off platform or bring on platform if you've trained it somewhere else. Image to 3D model, you can start generating, now they're meshes, but you can start generating really interesting objects, interior scenes, or even buildings to some extent. So some workflows that we're covering, for example, a typical workflow might be, starting with a sketch, converting that sketch into image, in painting that scene, changing, prompting, iterating, converting that into a higher res render. That render can be taken, applied to a multi-view process you can see right here in the middle, and then converted into a 3D editable geometry. That geometry, you could then go back and reverse it. Maybe that hyper-realistic, which seems to be that trend today, might not be the appropriate thing for a client-facing presentation. Convert that image into a sketch, into a watercolor. We have so many different styles, and then maybe make a visual or render sequence out of that. Data security is a priority for us. We don't retrain your data, and I'll give a brief glimpse. I'll go live on this demo, and we're essentially a node-based system. So just a brief glimpse into what we've been creating. Essentially, it's intended in the similar fashion as one might conceive a Miro board. So you have boards which you can share with teams. You can share with other companies, and we've been onboarding several in the last few months. You can preview all of your past projects or even train your own LoRa models. And so the training process is hello world, is simply adding adding from 20 to 50 images, and then you have a style which you can use to essentially generate new images. So just to go, for example, just reload. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Live demo. Let's go into here. So this is, let's say, a full or extended workflow just to see each step of that process. You might consider each of these individual nodes as a platform in itself. And you can see ideating with images, editing elements, changing atmospheres, adding or removing people. And so you can, for example, do prompt a single image and then generate. Add, for example, a pool, add different elements, add or remove people, relight your scene, or even do things like have a person, give the person pants. This is a conversation from yesterday, or even change the heels into sneakers and change the view, and then bring that into an image and then complete that cycle of generating a final image and possibly animate it into a video. I think my internet's acting up a bit slow, or even converting that to, this is not the best example, there's much higher resolution examples of this, but converting that single image into a 3D model. And so I'll just give another glimpse of what you can do, for example, in creating, let's call it AEC-Tech. You can create a project, and essentially now we're essentially building a toolkit for you to be able to create your own workflow, to then make boards to present these to clients or present these internally. And you could choose, for example, I want an intro workflow. I want to just get started now. You can use nodes, for example, like a text-to-text node you might see here. A Norwegian cabin becomes a more extensive prompt that can be longer or shorter. You can then connect that text node into an image node, for example, and then generate. And then, oh, I'll just connect right here. Or let me give a better example. Text to image node, and let's say Norwegian house. The idea here is to essentially create that full workflow. And so you can essentially generate an image, connect it to the next step, maybe not the best prompt, and then iterate and change. So relight this image night scene. You can relight images. You can then upscale those images. You can then convert those into videos. The creative possibilities. The idea here is to really give you guys that full control. Okay, really took the night scene very literally here. Maybe this is a better example. Converting that, oh, it's taking, let me just, right here, sorry. Converting that daytime scene, prompting it to say a night scene with a Milky Way visible, maybe something a bit excessive, but you can have that before and after. Download these, download 3D models, create your own workflow, view your history, edit, share, collaborate. So our product roadmap is very much leaning into the 3D space. We have a lot of feedback, a lot of new opportunities. There are new workflows that have been coming out with what we've been building. So I'm curious to see what you all make. Thanks so much.
Amazing. Thanks so much. It was very exciting and so much potential. I loved it. And thanks for the demo and showing us and walking us through the product. So can you also import an already existing image? I'm sure you can, right? Like
Yeah.
a rendering or a building, you can import that and you can make edits to what you currently have, and you use that space as a rendering tool. So
Yes.
basically you are helping users generate these like views, but not just that, they can also import what they already have and then take it
Yes.
from there, right? Make different iteration, design iterations or
Yeah. So there's the idea is to really go full circle to give architects, you can drag and drop your Rhino viewport, your Arctic view, your Revit screenshot, or your Enscape view, and then upscale that, prompt it to generate new images, or bring in things, for example, like a style. Do I want to convert that into a watercolor? Do I want to make it even higher res? Do I want to upscale people? Do I want to remove people? And
mm,
that's, each model has that potential of giving you benefits in different ways. So it's a
got it.
full versatility. Yeah.
And the image has to be like a JPEG, right? Or a PNG, or it can't be a model.
The two options we have already are bringing in, importing an image, or drag and dropping it onto that canvas, or through a speckle integration. So if it's maybe a more advanced workflow, but those comfortable with speckle, you essentially click a button, you import your speckle model, you choose your viewport, and then you connect the next node and do image to image, image to render. So that viewport to a rendered scene.
Got it. Wonderful. Okay, great. Amazing. Thanks for sharing. Okay, next we have Dram with Blueprints AI. So Al, please feel free to share your screen and tell us more about what you guys are building. Blueprints.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ignaz. Thank you to my co-speakers, Rohit and George. It was amazing work. And you can see my screen, right? And we welcome all of the people who are seeing this. Thank you for spending time and learning new things. So today's session is more about workflows in architecture, and we're going to be more focused on construction documentation, which the previous tools were mostly on the pre-design and schematic design. And we're going to touch base on the design development and construction documentation. About the workflow, anything that's step by step, we call it workflow. So something starts from one point, goes to the next part, then goes to evolve and go to next part is workflow. To get something done, it can be anything. And we've seen some paradigm shifts on workflows. The first one was when the people could start reprinting stuff. So the techniques came out after the reproduction started and blueprints could be generated. That was a time that we could see the architects start cutting and pasting, and the parts that they want to revise makes it easier. And the next shift was when the CAD introduced and adopted by the architects and engineers. Instead of like just using pen and paper, then going to print shop and cut and paste, you start doing on computer much more efficient, and you could start doing some small macros to make things faster, and more tools get generated. But still was one page. It was only focusing on only floor plan or only elevation or only section. And the next shift was when BIM introduced, and the nice thing about BIM is that when you change something, the revision that you make is more, if you set it up well, it's gonna be on the whole building information. It's gonna be change the takeoff, they change the number of doors you need to buy on the table. And the floor plan and the elevation section, everything changes together. So revision gets easier. And what we see right now as AI era, which even is one step forward. You just think, type, and things happen. So learning curves is way easier and things are smoother. We have some graphs that is very helpful to look at it. So what we've seen in this era, the hand drawing is like pre-reproduction is like been here for thousands of years. From the moment that people start building and doing construction, that has been there. Then the reproduction, CAD, BIM, AI, and the first one is the revision time. So as you can see, the revision times get smaller, and faster and easier. But on the other hand, it gets harder to learn these tools. So hand drawing was easiest, then the reproduction was cut and paste, put the tape and reprint it. Then CAD came, people start learning CAD. I know architects, the engineers, and I work with them, is still using hand drawing. So they couldn't adopt, and they're not that old. They're like on their 60s, 70s. So they could not turn to using CAD because they were very professional. What they're doing, they're still doing hand drawings. Then Beam came, and I know a lot of people they didn't like to adopt the Beam, and companies they're not still using Beam. Larger companies, I've seen them, and because it got even harder. But on the AI, what we can see, anybody on any age can use it very easy. So it become to the point that if you can type, you can get the documents out. And on the other hand, when the tool gets easier, we see the creativity gets better. So the quality of the building, quality of the design gets higher because you have more time in your hands. So you want to do something better. You're not plugged with a tool that's very hard to deal with. And the next slide, we're going to talk about the construction workflow, which is basically what we are talking on this session. And we have the PD or pre-design, most is programming and planning, which Dodda touch base on this very nice tool, very sophisticated tool can generate this. Then we have schematic design, or we call it SD, and SD is mostly, you're gonna know what you want. It's more like shapes. You have the square footages, but you want to see how it looks. Which George touched base on this part. Then we have design development and construction documents. So design development is more, okay, you have all of those thinking and creativity, you want to bring it on the layout and plan and start making it more tangible. And construction document is very detailed. Construction documents for people who are want to have an easier explanation is a booklet that lets contractor put the building together. Okay, you put the foundation first. This is how you connect things together. And construction documents are much needed for any construction anywhere in the world, and it's very, very time consuming. So we're going to come to time wise and how things are changing, evolving right now. Pre-beam, which means AutoCAD, hand drawing, reproduction, where they were similar process. All of these stages was very defined. But after the 10% was pre-designed, then schematic design SC was 20% of time was allocated to that, DD and CD, and the pricing and getting paid in the architecture and engineering companies, pre-design companies, was very similar. So they were like charging based on the allocation of those time. But when Beam introduced, the DD and CD kind of get together. It's very hard to define and point, okay, my DD is done, now I want to do CD. Before we could do, okay, the design, we have another department. I used to work somewhere that the department of design was separate than CD, and there were more people working in CD, and DD was less people. We were happier. But when the Beam came out, they were using CAD. And when Beam came out, that DD and CDs kind of evolves together. So when you start in, for example, Revit, you're starting with doing the CD from day one. And we have another evolution that we can see the SD, DD, and CD. Sometimes the PD gets all together on the AI, and we will be seeing a tool in the future, not far, can generate all of these together, connecting all of these other tools that are available and put it together as a one product, one prompts made one. Then we come to the what we do. Okay, Blueprints AI generates construction documents from prompts, and right now we are multi-model, which means we can get different type of input. We are SaaS. We don't need to install it. Anything is easy to learn. So as long as you know how to drag and drop with computer, how to type, you can do it. And the output is code companion. You can go and get a permit. We have situation with one prompt, the user could go and pull a permit, which is amazing. What we do right now, Is a big change from the past, like time that we talk here. Now we can put text input, drawing, we can input AutoCAD files, we can put BIM files, and we can put images in. And the blueprints understand all of these, and the output is going to be floor plan 2D. You can approve it. Then 3D, then blueprints, and everything are based on local. We have a small demo that I need to start it. Yeah. So how it works is the when we type in, we get the 3D model first, and we can add more images and more documents, even like uh, raw zoning code, planning code. We can put it in and get the output from the blueprints. And the output is going to be right now we can do PDF, CAD, Revit, and SketchUp is added. Okay. And our vision is mostly focused on the users and being inspired designers. So we're gonna make that drafting part, which is not that fun and we didn't sign up for. We went to school to do more like design work, not becoming either BIM manager or BIM drafter or AutoCAD drafter or BIM drafter. With having the speed of revisions and make them enable to have more innovation, we want to have a bit better impact on the whole society. And what we see blueprints is more AI that is here to help. Is kind of a like a partner or a co-colleague or somebody that here for help. You need to manage it. You need to tell what you want, but it's here to make your work faster. What it gives the early adopters is they can do the revisions faster. The process that used to take 3, 4, 5, 6 months, they can do. We've seen that they can do it in a week, 2 or 2 weeks. And the other shift that we had, most of the companies in the past were based on, okay, I sell more seats. It's not based on the value they're bringing, is based on how many people, how many hours are working the tool. Our model is going to be more beyond the hourly fee that the users can charge the clients. Is going to be more the value they're bringing, because the work that used to take 6 months, now they can do it in a week. They cannot charge a week. They need to charge based on what they know and how they can use this. And here is everybody who wants to connect with me. LinkedIn is the best way to talk to me. And we have a waitlist. If you want to try the tools, we have cohorts every week. We onboard the different type of different size of architecture companies or clients or developers, or even students. So we separate them in different cohorts, but they're welcome to join. And this was my presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Al. Great presentation. Very comprehensive, and I appreciate you sharing with us a bit of history and background into what you are doing and what you are building. Construction documentation is such a complex, process. So are you guys now focused on a specific part of it? Like, let's say, for example, putting the dimensions or tags or any specific part, or not really? You are working on the entire process.
This is a really good question. So we are focused on entire process. We're limited to type of project at this moment. Although we have users that are trying commercial projects, we are more focused on single families, ADUs, and that's how we are training on. But the output is going to be kind of inclusive. Everything is included, and the final product is something that you can submit to the city.
Wonderful. Great, thank you. So I'm going to ask a couple quick questions and then we can wrap up. So this is a question for all of you. I'm sure you have daily talks with your potential, customers and clients, and what they ask you. Maybe one of the questions is, so how can they choose you over your competitors? So if you can tell us, maybe without mentioning names, or if you want to mention names, that'd be also helpful, of who your competitors are, direct or indirect, and why should they go with you and your product rather than other individuals, or sometimes even larger companies, like in George's case, like Midjourney, for instance, or I don't know, some other AI tools. So what should they work with your platform rather than the other ones? So Rohit, do you want to take it first, and then we'll go by the
Sure.
same order?
Yeah. So when we started working on the tool, we are early adopter. In fact, the person who wanted this kind of tool, we worked with them directly, and we asked them, "What do you do right now?" Like I spoke about that. Even if they find all the answers, just copy pasting and keeping the format the same just is a lot of time. So just a basic step, we prepare the report for you. So you don't have to spend time copy pasting, formatting, and doing all that. So the report is ready made. At the same time, we defined ourselves as an AI scribe, so scribing for you. So that takes a lot of work. We Once we started working on this, and then people who are assessing multiple land parcels, one is fine, one maybe you can do it, but if you have multiple to choose from, we can enable you to do that much faster than just the speed of whole thing. And this can only have happened because of AI. We we could we ask people, our initial conversations with the clients, um, it takes a lot of time. It's just toil, a lot of toiling and searching and copy pasting. We take away all of that. So that really helps a lot of people. And we see the spark in their eye that, yes, this saves me. Can you add a little bit more? And we said, sure, we'll put it in our prioritization list and we'll add that feature. If we get a lot of people requesting the same thing, we know we have a path forward. So it's really helping the professionals out. This is the first step. Without land, you can't have any AEC. That's the first part. That's where we started, and then we'll add the value chain as we go. And that's how the path is going forward.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
George, how about you?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I think for us, as a big differentiator from a lot of the competition, is that we are, what I mentioned, we're built by architects for architects. And so there are so many tools out there. You think Midjourney, even LookX, or some architecture-specific ones. Consider us the one place instead of the 5 or many, or sometimes some companies use 10 different AI ideation platforms or visualization platforms. And so already with the 25 models crossing across these different types of representation, across image, video, simply upscaling, or into the early 3D stages, just makes complete sense to come to have one single subscription versus the many. But yeah, I think also the experience of the team, of myself in industry, the partnerships we're building, all the feedback that we get from architects first is in our priority versus other industries, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of difference, and that makes a lot of sense. Awesome. Thank you. So Al, how about you?
A great question again. So I think our difference is mostly on the adoption and the speed. So it's way easier to learn blueprints. You cannot compare to any other tools in the market. Than generating something with blueprints or just chatting with it is very smooth and easy. And the product that you receive that is usable, close to something that you can build, is kind of thing that is an advantage for competition. These two are the main things we have right now, but technology goes very fast. So we need to be more innovative and keep going and come up with more solutions. This is a situation we have that other competitors don't.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, wonderful. And then I also see like collaboration also as part of what you all are doing, because like collaboration is becoming more and more important, because there are all these like stakeholders, and they are, like they say, on average for every single project there are about 30 companies that are involved in the process. So is it something that all of you, like you're actively concerned with like building your product, giving the possibility to all these stakeholders being part of the process, because in the past that hasn't been the case. There's been like this file that you email to all these people and they're all this back and forth. So how do you facilitate that? Maybe we can go some order. Rohit, if you want to take it first.
Sure. We have from the very get-go um, a mechanism for sharing. So we give different usage rights. So you can create a project. In that project, you have an admin, you have a user, you have a super admin also who can do that. So and then we have team members access where you have read only. So all of that was already thought out because we want people to be using the platform and not sending docx or pdf files, because then you have a versioning problem. So that's very important. The collaboration part is very important, and that's going to be
Great,
core.
thank you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. George, how about you?
I think if you're not collaborative in the new AI startup race, you can't be competitive. So collaboration for us is everything. Bringing everyone into one. I really appreciated the last comment, Al, of clean and simple and accessible UI. It needs to be simple to use. It needs to be accessible. And so if we can bring interns, architects, partners, and clients all into one simple, readable space to mark up, to visualize, or even work on or generate new content or new images, that's a big focus, definitely for us.
Great. And the space that you showed us, that like dashboard, it's something that different people, like different team members get access to, right? I assume with different level of editing, capacity or possibility of, like, if I'm the main person like in charge, that's just like what I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm the main person like creating that board, I'm the editor, let's say, if we think of it as like something like space like Figma. And then if I'm inviting different people as viewers, they'll be just viewers. They're not, is the process
Yes.
something like that? Okay.
It's identical to all the Figmas, the murals, the Miros. We are that, but for architecture powered by all of these generative tools. Correct.
Got it. Okay, wonderful. Great. Sorry if I'm not getting into too much details. It's just where my mind is going and I'm curious to see. That's awesome. So Al, how about you? How do you see like collaboration as being part of?
Collaboration is a very important part. We have not seen much collaboration on the AI tools, even big firms like OpenAI, ChatGPT, or any of these big firms to have a true collaboration on the tool yet. And what we've seen outside the tool, the collaboration happens. So, for example, okay, architects comes and chat first, and maybe they just change their seat, and after that, the engineers is chatting. Okay, we've seen that collaboration loop gets smaller and faster. The thing that used to take many weeks, now it can happen in a couple of hours because the output is faster. So platform-wise, I can say I haven't seen any AI that can do it very well through one chat. Everybody can use it yet. Outside that, yes, this collaboration is way, way faster.
Wonderful. Great, thank you. So we have a couple more minutes. Maybe I can ask the final question about data privacy, and then I'll ask you if you have any final comment you want to add. So data privacy is a big concern. Everyone is concerned about it. So how do you ensure this process in? So one question is basically keeping the data safe. And the other one is using your client's data to train your model. So can you tell me how you address these two issues? Rohit, again, we can start from you.
Thanks for the question. Very important question. Everybody is concerned about it, especially with the reputation of current AI tools. We explicitly, by default, do not use anything to train the models. We block that. And then even we also have the ability to upload some files that are also not persisted. So that way, from the design right now, the current design, we are making sure that your data is not getting used. It's only available in your session for now. Uh, and we are very clear about our privacy policy as well. So only if you allow us to use the data to train, we will do that. That's the
Got
way
it.
to go. And we have an AI ML expert who's very particular about this, and the team itself has a lot of experience with privacy and doing it at a big, massive scale. So we are all set for that.
Got it. Thanks for sharing. So,
Yeah.
George, how about you?
The same applies here. However, we never train based on the user's data. There's not an opt-in if you wanted to. It's just plain right we don't. The distinction I will make, though, however, is we offer a mix of open source tools and non-open source tools. And so they're third parties like OpenAI, which we use that third party. And so for the models that we do have control, it's that full data security. But within the same platform, you have access, if you wanted to use all of those other use cases. And so it's very much what appetite or what models that specific architecture firm wants to do. And for that, we have custom dashboards for enterprises, either as credit pools to understand what people are using or how many credits they're using, but you then also can limit what you might want to give to your full team. Every office is a little different. Some are more permissive about, some are comfortable with tools like Midjourney. I would say for NDA projects, I would definitely not go there. I would not have them as client facing. And so it's always that push and pull that we're all having.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Al.
Good question. All of your questions are good.
Thank you.
So this is a good question, and many people ask. Most of the things that we train on our AI on is public information. So when everybody can access it as public, and we are using those. And we have a feature that you can upload your old projects on your dashboard, so the AI can learn your title sheet, for example, or any kind of details that you used before. You just upload 10 projects, and the AI learns from your old projects and generate something for you based on the old ones. So it's kind of a silo. It's like a closed loop only for your projects and your company or your user input. It stays with that company and evolves each time that they put more into it or get some explore, it gets better. So AI is learning, but it's not a shared AI that the whole model starts learning. And you can turn that off. You can, as a privacy mode, okay, just don't save any of files. I upload this. When the session is done, remove everything. We have that too.
Got it. Okay, wonderful. Thank you all. So we have a few more minutes, 3 more minutes. Is there any final thought or comment you would like to add? Rohit, again, we can start from you.
Sure. Uh, Yeah, it's a complex problem, so the time is right for all these solutions to come up. AI has enabled us to do all this. At the same time, we are very careful and with our approach that all the results that we give are vetted. So there's a lot of things that we do at the back to make sure that the sources that it's pulling these results from are vetted. So it's still that human part is still there. We verify the outputs. It's not just letting go of AI do its own thing. So it's a collaboration between AI tools and our expertise and our subject matter expertise in some ways. So that's the assurance we want to give all our customers who are still on the edge about using such tools. So that's
Yeah,
what we want to say.
for sure. Thank you, George.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess I'll echo that. And for us, the human in the loop is always at the core of what we're building. And the same goes for all our academic partners in onboarding their students in classes this fall, as well as architects using these on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you bringing us together, especially in this big push in these early days. And I look forward to maybe connecting in some way, or I often lecture about the next step of this end-to-end process of designing, of thinking of a building maybe one day and having construction documentation. Not that it's there's a lot of steps we need for that. We always need to keep us in the loop, especially for things like our standard of care, responsible control. However, it's interesting conceptually to bring us at the table, especially as architects, to think how we can, keep at that driving seat. Thanks so much.
Yeah, for sure. Our industry needs a lot more like collaboration between all you like innovators as well as like industry leaders and professionals. Yeah, it's very refreshing to see all that happening, and thanks for your enthusiasm to, do that. So Al, any final comment or thought?
Bitcoin is like we are so lucky to live in this era to see these changes, and I'm very thankful for all of everything happening, and especially you putting this together. But I can say we're gonna see a big shift in next 10 years in the design field, and it's gonna be way more fun and interesting soon. So anybody who's studying architecture, they should be happy. It's gonna be way better in next 5 years, and it gets to the core of design portion, the design thinking, problem solving. Whoever has that core can do the rest way faster and way easier. Other than that, thank you for watching. Thank you for having us. It was amazing.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. It's a very exciting time. I think they say AEC is the second digitized industry in the world, like after fishing or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll definitely live in a very exciting era. And thank you all for joining us today for building all these exciting, powerful products. Best of luck. For those of you in the US, have a great long weekend ahead and hope to see you at our future talks and future events. Have a great
Thank
day.
you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thanks so
Nicholas.
much.
Cool.